Okay, we're going to take a little bit of a look here at Visual Basic. Okay, so Visual Basic is going to be under this icon here called Visual Studio, which will be on your desktop, but it's on my taskbar. So I'm going to go ahead and start that. Mine comes up pretty fast. It says here that we're going to do a new project right here. And then when it comes up, we want a Windows form application. Don't pick any of these. You're going to be very confused about what's going on. So I'm doing Visual Basic, a Windows form application. Okay. And then it will come up. So now here is our work area right here. Here's our commands over here. If your commands aren't here, you can pin them. So on your toolbox, you would click the toolbox over here and then just click the little pin button. So there's my auto hide, but here's my toolbox. And if I want to pin it, I just click the pin, and then there's all my tools right there. So that might be a good thing for you to do. I've got my form window here. It says click and drag it bigger. But before I do that, what I want to do is, here's my form. And so right here, I have my form one. Here's all my properties. And just for the heck of it, I'm going to look at the size. Its size is 300 by 300. If I click this and drag it, let's see. Yep, it did change to 663, 575. So when you drag that form, it changes. Okay. So these are the properties of the form window right here. And so it says resize, and we want to change the name. So it says text right here is called Form 1. And there's Form 1, and here's Form 1. So I'm going to click on here under text and change it to in class. And let's see if that took it. Yep, it did. So there's in class right there. And then it says next we want to double click the in class window. So if I double click this brings up the computer code associated with this. And in here, we haven't really added anything yet. But to go between the two, here's my form window. And then here's going to be all the computer code that is behind this. Okay. So the next part, you can pause this and keep going on your program development in-class worksheet. The next one on the worksheet, though, is program design. So it says drag a label to the upper left-hand corner. So these are all my things that I can do right here. And you notice right here is a label. So here's my label right here. I put a label right there. In the Windows property, change the text to sales. Here's, I clicked on the label. And so here's all the properties of what it is. And it says go down to text. And instead of label 1, we want to call that sales. Okay. And notice it changed to sales. I want to change the font size to 12. So if I scroll up, here's my font, Microsoft 8.25. If I click that, I get the option to make it bigger, and I'll make it 12. So there you go, I've got sales. Add another label under it called commission. So under here, I'm going to get another label. I'll drag it. Now look at, see how, isn't that nice that that line squares it up for you? And I'm going to click on this down here, and the text is not labeled 2. It is going to be commission. Okay, and it says change the text. Okay, I got there. I've got commission. Oh, and it wants me to change the text in the font size to 12. So I'm going to scroll up here again to font. Click this, and I'll make it 12. Okay, so now I've got sales and commission. Okay, now I'm going to drag a text box to the right of the first label. So I come down here, and it says text box. And once again, it's going to square it up for me. That's nice. And another text box right to here. And there's so my other text box. And I want to add a button to the center of the form. When I scroll up here, I'll put a button right there. And I want to change that text. I've got that selected. So if I come down here to text, I'm going to change that to calculate. And click here, it changed it to calculate. It truncated a little bit, so why don't I just drag this a little bit bigger? That looks pretty good right there. Should we make it bigger? We can go to the font and make it a 12 too. That's okay. Font, I'm going to make that 12. Okay. And once again, I truncated, so I'll just move that, and I'll maybe move it here, make it look pretty good. So now I've got my form window here, and I got sales commission, and I'm going to calculate. Okay. Moving on to the part of this is we're going to write the subroutine. So if I click the Form 1 Basic right here, this is what the computer code is going to be based on this. Okay, and so before we do that, we want to go into the first text box right here, and it says change the tab stop property to false. So here's tab stop. We're going to make that false. It says then click into here, the second one, and make tab stop false. And then it says go to calculate, and we're going to make tab stop false. Okay, so there you go. We'll unlock these text boxes so that we can use it to enter numbers. So we've unlocked it. We're going to put numbers in. Okay. Now that's where we double click on the calculate button, and all that does is it brings me into my computer code. That's where we had a minute. So at the insertion point right here, I'm gonna put a little asterisk. And what that does is it means it's not code. This is just for us to read to see what's going on. Commission as value of user input times rate. So once again, what that little asterisk does right there is it tells it that it's not computer code. It's just for informational. Okay, and then it says hit enter. Now I am going to put some computer code, and it is text. Notice it's trying to find something, and it did text box 2 dot text. But once again, it's trying to find something that makes sense, and so we have a text box 2 dot text. That is something that we had in there, and I'll show you in a minute. And that is going to be equal to the value of text box 1 dot text parentheses times 0.15. So I type it just like that, and then I'm going to hit enter. So there we go. We've got text box 2 equals the value of this. So now what it says is do to run it. I'm going to come up here and hit start, and we're going to try it. So I'm going to do sales of $100. Now, if I made sales of $100 and I get 15% commission, I should get $15. So if I hit calculate, it returns $15. Because what it did is it took 100 times 0.015 when I hit the calculate button, and it returns it. So we look back here. Once again, this subroutine right here, button 1 click, we have a button 1. We added a button. This is button 1. So the code for button 1 causes this subroutine to execute. Okay, and it says that this right here, if I look over to the right, that is text box 1. That is text box 1. This is text box 2. Okay, so once again, when I hit the calculate here, that's the code. Oops, double click that. It made text box 2 equal to the text box 1, the text in there times 0.015. And that's your first little Visual Basic program.